Okay, so this is the second part of my video about vocabulary notebook. This part is about memorizing the words, because it's one thing just to write the words into your notebook, and it's another thing to try to do something to memorize the words. If you do this, you will remember a lot more words. But you need to make an effort. Nobody apart from you can put the words into your head. It's up to you. So first, the first thing to do is you can see the English and the Arabic. Maybe you have example sentence as well. Just read them. Maybe say them about 3 times in the language you're learning. So, example, artificial, artificial, artificial. Then you can maybe just read the one in your language, or say it as well. But you don't need to say it 3 times. Okay, so and then continue like that. Accident, accident, accident. Hadith. Okay, in Arabic. So you can do that aloud, or you can just do it inside your head. It's up to you. Okay, next. Okay, so that was step 1. This is step 2. Step 2, you have to cover one side. It's better to cover your language first, so you can see the words you're learning, and you have to remember them in your language. Okay, so artificial, what's that in Arabic? Accident, what's that in Arabic? Analysis, what's that in Arabic? If you can remember the word, put a dot next to it. Could be on the left or the right, wherever however you prefer. So I remember in this example, artificial, analysis, advert, and awful were remembered. So they had a dot next to them. If you remember the word, if you can't remember the word, don't put a dot there. If you can't remember, don't write anything. Okay, so it should be like this. So you do one word at a time. So you look at the first word, and then you move down to the next word, and then to the next word. So you go through the words one by one. So when you've it's best to leave some time between the steps. So like between step 1, step 2, step 3, leave at least 30 minutes, I would say. This means it's not so fresh in your mind, and if you can remember it later, that's actually better. If you remember it right away, it might be because you just looked at it recently, not long ago. So if you allow some time, that's actually a better way of doing it. It means you've remembered better if you allow more time. So I do this maybe every 3 days, and but I'll do more than one step at a time though. So in those 3 days, when I do sit down to do it. Okay, so step 4 is the opposite way. So you cover the English and you look at the Arabic. It's the same thing. So if you remember the word, put a dot next to it. If you don't remember, do nothing. Don't put anything there. Okay, step 5. So you need to do this 2 times. So when a word has 2 dots, that means you've remembered 2 times. And I stop there. I stop at 2 times. So when a word has 2 dots for the English and 2 dots for the Arabic, that's memorized enough. It's not memorized 100%, but it means if you see this word again, it will at least seem familiar to you, and you might remember it. Okay, so this is not 100% memorized, but it's enough for now. So it means you're familiar with the word. Okay, so when you have 2 times 2 for English Arabic and times 2 for Arabic English, I consider that for this notebook it's enough. You might want to add it again later when you're, in a few weeks' time or a few months' time, if you've forgotten it. Also, one thing I do is sometimes I know the word, but I don't know how to spell it. So I might add it to my notebook anyway, even if I know the meaning, but I just don't know how to spell it. Okay, anyway, when all the words in one square have 2 dots, then that square is finished. So I put a tick there. The tick means this square is finished. I don't need to look at these words anymore. So I can ignore this square. Okay, and I made another video which shows me trying to memorize the words. So, okay, finally, when you have one or more than one of the letters, all the pages are full, then you can simply start another 50 pages and put any new words in the new 50 pages. And you just keep going like that for however long you're learning the language. If you want, you can make a notebook of 100 pages. But you need to change I think 50 is enough though. But when you've finished a few pages, then you just start again another 50 pages. Okay. Yeah, as I mentioned, it's a good idea if your spelling's not very good, just to put the words into the notebook, even if you know them. But when you're memorizing them, focus a bit more on the spelling. You may want to actually test yourself on the spelling. Try writing the word on a piece of paper and then checking it. So it's not the meaning you're trying to memorize, it's the spelling in that case. Okay, so in the 2 parts of the presentation, I translated about 50 words. So if you're not 100% sure of any of these words, you can start your notebook by putting them in there, or you can maybe focus a bit more on spelling. So put them in your notebook simply because you don't know how to spell them very well. Okay, and that's the last slide, so thank you very much. And so just remember, the notebook is 2 things. Firstly, it's putting the words in there, and secondly, it's trying to memorize them.